It's a tale of a man who saw a group of elephants while he was traveling. He noticed that these huge, strong creatures were being held by only a small rope tied to their front leg. No chains, no cages. It was obvious that the elephants could, at any time, break away from the ropes they were tied to, but for some reason, they did not. Intrigued, the traveler approached the elephant keeper and asked why these animals made no attempt to break free, despite their evident power to do so. The keeper explained that when the elephants were very young and much smaller, they used the same size rope to tie them. At that age, the size of the rope was enough to hold them. As they grew up, they were conditioned to believe they could not break away. They believed the rope could still hold them, so they never tried to break free. The man was stunned. These animals could break free from their bonds at any time, but because they believed they couldn't, they were stuck right where they were. In philosophy, particularly within Buddhist thought, this parable serves to illustrate how we, as individuals, can become limited by the mental chains we impose on ourselves. Often, our limitations are not external but are self-imposed. We confine ourselves by our beliefs and past experiences. Much like the elephants who believe they cannot break the rope. It highlights the Buddhist concept of shenpa, the Tibetan word for attachment, which refers to the tendency to get stuck in habitual ways of thinking and reacting. Breaking these patterns requires a conscious effort and mindfulness, a core practice in Buddhist philosophy. Thus, the story of the elephant and the rope is not just a tale, but a metaphorical exploration of our human condition. It invites us to examine our beliefs and assumptions, to question them, and break free from the ropes we have tied ourselves with. The lesson is clear: we should never assume that we're stuck with the way things are. Life is filled with endless possibilities for those willing to challenge their deeply ingrained beliefs and constraints. As we dive further, the aim is to elaborate upon a framework for overcoming the self-imposed limitations we often encounter in day-to-day life: recognition, reflection, and reformation. This approach is inspired by the principles extracted from the parable of the elephant and the rope, while also incorporating key findings from psychological research. Recognition. Recognition is the first and arguably most crucial step towards overcoming the ropes of perception. It involves acknowledging the existence of self-imposed limitations. Like the elephant in the parable, we cannot seek liberation until we understand that our shackles are less material, more mental. This process is not as simple as it seems. We are often blind to our self-imposed limitations due to years of conditioning. Psychological research shows that the phenomenon of cognitive dissonance often keeps us from seeing these ropes. People tend to seek consistency in their beliefs and perceptions. So when we're exposed to information contradicting our pre-existing beliefs, instead of changing our minds, we often discard the new information to reduce discomfort. Therefore, a conscious and consistent effort is required to recognize these self-imposed limitations. Mindfulness and meditation can be invaluable tools in fostering the necessary self-awareness. Reflection. Following recognition, the next stage of the journey is reflection. This step involves probing into the nature, origin, and impact of these self-imposed limitations. Reflection enables us to understand why we have these mental constraints and how they are affecting our lives. For instance, a person who has always believed they're terrible at math needs to reflect on why they hold this belief. Did they have a bad experience in a math class during their early education that's led to this belief? How is this belief affecting their career choices or daily life? Reflection enables us to gain a deeper understanding of our limitations and often reveals the irrationality or outdated nature of many of our constraints. Reformation. The final step in this process is reformation. Having recognized and reflected upon our self-imposed constraints, we must now work towards altering these perceptions. Reformation is an active step that requires us to confront and challenge our beliefs. Psychology provides us with many tools for this process. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, for example, is a type of psychotherapy that helps people challenge unhelpful patterns of thought. Techniques from CBT can be applied to reform our self-perceptions. Reformation requires consistent effort and resilience, but the result is a liberation akin to the elephant breaking its rope. Breaking free from a self-imposed limitation empowers us to reach our potential and solve problems previously deemed insurmountable. Recognition, reflection, and reformation form a powerful framework to overcome the ropes of perception. Inspired by the Buddhist parable of the elephant and the rope, this three-step process encourages us to recognize and question our limiting beliefs, thereby opening avenues for personal growth and problem-solving. The Buddha once said, "No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path." This statement resonates deeply with the teachings from the parable of the elephant and the rope. The onus is on us, as individuals and as a society, to acknowledge our ropes, understand their origins, and muster the courage to break free. In conclusion, the wisdom of the elephant and the rope parable provides an insightful framework to approach not just 99% of our day-to-day problems, but also our broader, shared societal challenges. It implores us to understand that often, the key to our issues lies not in the external world but within our perceptions and beliefs. See you next time. Until then, don't forget to subscribe.